My name is Sean, I'm from CatsOnTV.com, and today I'm going to show you how easy it was to make these 3 cat trees. Here are the tools that we're going to need to complete our 6-foot cat tree. Alright, here's the hardware we're going to need to make our cat tree. We're going to need a cement form tube, we're going to need 5 2x4s, we're going to need to get a lodgepole pine, we're going to need about 200 feet of rope and some carpet, and let's get started. To make the foundation of the cat tree, we're going to need 4 pieces of 2x4 that are cut 22.5 inches long. So you're going to want to make sure that your boards are nice and straight and even and real close, and we're going to go ahead and make a square, and we're going to go ahead and overlap those. So the first square is going to go like that, level. So we're going to go ahead and finish these last 2 corners. Now that we have all 4 corners nailed, we're going to go ahead and shoot some screws in here as well. Okay, so we have our base complete. Now we're ready for the next. So we're ready to fasten these 2 2x4s together. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure they're nice and flush down here on the end. Alright, so we have our 2 2x4s nailed together. We're going to go ahead and mark this out at 6 feet tall. That's how tall we're going to make our cat tree. And we'll cut that, and we're ready to make the back support. Okay, so the next step is we're going to attach the 2 back supports. And what we're going to do first is we're just going to put 1 16-penny nail in there. Alright, next we're going to just go ahead and set this leg bolt in. Okay, that's good and tight. Next we're going to go ahead and fasten the deck to the cat tree, and we're going to make this is going to make it nice and solid. Alright, so now we need to cut a piece of plywood to fill in this, and it's going to look just like an L. It's going to be 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And this is what we're going to cut out to make this. Alright, so we have our log, and what we're going to do next is we're going to peel the bark off to expose this really cool wood underneath. And I'm just going to use a hammer and a screwdriver in my hands just to kind of peel the bark off, and not scoring, making sure not to score the nice wood underneath. So I'm just going to go ahead and pry the bark off. Okay, so once I wash this off, it's going to reveal a really cool pattern that the bugs have made in there. So we'll go ahead and wash that thoroughly off, make sure there's no bugs in our cat tree. Next we're going to take a saw and remove the nubs. So we're going to go ahead and saw those off. So we've cut a nice flat base in our log. This is our pole that we've cut to 67.5 inches long. We've washed this up, and it's all ready to go on the cat tree. We're going to use this triangle piece as the very top of the cat tree. So what we're going to do is 24 inches by 24 inches here square. So we're going to draw a line and intersect that right in the center. Okay, next we need to cut our sono tube into 2 sections that are 20 inches. So there's our first one cut. Let's go ahead and cut the second one. Alright, next we have our tube that we've cut 20 inches long, and we're going to want to cut this directly in half, and we're going to have 2 pieces. Okay, so next we're going to take our glue gun, and we're going to lay glue beads all the way down the center here. Pea-sized dots. I'm just going to put this right in place. Put some pressure on it. This is just meant to go down as far. Hot glue beads all along the top here. So I'm going to start right at the pencil area. The next thing we need to do is cut out 3 sections of our tube. 2 of them are going to be 5.5 inches and the other one is going to be 7 inches. Now we need to go ahead and make the bottom for our bed. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw this out on plywood. We're going to go ahead and trace this out. And then we're going to go ahead and cut this circle out. So we're ready to make some cuts. We're going to go ahead and cut out the 3 bases of the hanging beds. We're going to cut to the inside of the line. Okay, so next we're going to use a combination of hot glue and nails to fasten this. Okay, so now we're going to take our glue gun, and if there's any small gaps, we're just going to go ahead and shoot some glue in there, and it fills that right up. Okay, so that is thoroughly glued, nailed, and ready for carpet. Next we need to cut out the 3 circles that are going to go on the inside of the bed. Okay, and next we need to cut out 3 circles of our carpet padding and 3 circles of carpet that are going to go on the bottom of the hanging tube. Next I'm going to use some of our upholstery tacks to tack down the carpet. Just going to put some hot glue. On top of that, we're going to put some more hot glue and then the carpet. Okay, so for the hanging bed, we're going to start off by making sure that's nice and straight. Pulling the carpet out on both sides. Glue right up close there. Make 4 relief cuts. So I'm going to quarter this up. There. We're going to go ahead and glue these down. So we're going to fill some hot glue in there. Okay, so we're going to move that over. We're going to need to make some relief cuts in the carpet, and then we'll go ahead and glue this next one. Okay, we're ready to finish up the bottom, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my blade and cut around the edge, and then put some hot glue on the bottom. So here we go. We're just going to kind of saw around the outside. Okay, so what we're going to do for the last step is we're going to take the edge of the carpet and our hot glue. We're just going to put a couple beads of glue around the outside to hold that down. Next we need to cut a piece of carpet to fit around the first form tube, and we're going to make that 40 inches by 30 inches wide. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and lay some glue beads down here, and then we're going to roll the tube right back on top. Okay, so we have our glue beads ready to go, and you want to be careful when you roll this back that you have it nice and straight. Okay, next we're going to trim the carpet. Now that we've trimmed that, we're going to make sure that it matches and pull the carpet fibers out from the gap, from the joint. Okay, so we're ready to make our final seam, and we're going to put some glue beads right down here. And again, I want to make sure the carpet is out of the joint. Go ahead and just lay that over. Makes a nice seam. I'm just going to go ahead and continue my way working down the seam. Next you want to measure the carpet on the inside of the tube and make sure that it's the same on both sides. Okay, so this is the section that we need to trim to make sure that this is 4.5 inches all the way around. Okay, so we have our tube, but first we're going to make a couple relief cuts. Okay, so the first one I'm just going to glue up without making any cuts. Okay, so the last one usually requires 2 cuts, 1 on either side. So we'll see how much we're going to have to cut here. So let's just go ahead and trim on each side. We're going to use this carpet to go on the inside of this tube. We're going to glue it, and we're going to cut this at 40 inches long. Okay, so I've kind of wound the carpet up. It makes it a lot easier to work, and we're just going to go ahead and work our way around with hot glue. Okay, so I have a good amount glued out, and what I'm just going to do is just roll the carpet out and apply some pressure to it. Okay, so we've trimmed this up. Just cut right through there, and we're about ready to make our final glue. And let's go ahead and lay our glue beads in there. I'll go around the outside and tug at it and see if I can pick up any spots, and we'll throw some glue in there. Alright, so we have one completed too. We're going to set this aside while we build some other beds, and then we'll put this all together at the end. Next, we're going to carpet the half beds, and these are real easy to do. So you're going to want to make sure that you get the half tube centered right in the center of the piece of carpet, so it has the same amount on either side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our hot glue along here, and then we're going to fold our carpet over, and then we're going to use our clamps to hold that down. Okay, so I've turned the bed over, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put some glue on the back side. Okay, so now we're just going to take our tube and basically just roll it right onto the carpet, making sure it's nice and tight. I put some hot glue right down this side. Now we're waiting for the glue to dry on this side. We can make two cuts. We're going to hold this right here, and we're going to cut right parallel with the carpet line there on both sides. So you're going to cut there, and we're also going to cut over here. We're going to fold our carpet over and then start gluing from the center. So we're going to pull that nice and tight. So we have these floppy ears hanging up here, and so what we're going to do is we're going to cut that off about an eighth of an inch above the cardboard. What we're going to do is we're just going to put some hot glue and work our way down there, and we're going to cover up this seam. Now for the carpet on the inside, what I'm going to use is this throw rug that I got at Ross. So our center piece is cut, and we're just ready to glue that down now. That completes our hanging bed. Okay, so we have some gray carpet here, and we're going to cut this out to be 40 inches by 40 inches, and we're going to use that for the bottom. You're going to want to center the base of the cat tree in the carpet we just cut, and it's going to have about 8 inches on each side as an overhang. First thing we're going to do is we're going to draw completely around our square on the carpet, and that lets us know where we are on the footprint. And then I'm going to take a 2x4 and line it up. And this is the piece that we're going to cut out. Okay, so both holes cut should look something like this. The next step is we're going to carpet the legs of the cat tree. And we're going to cut out a piece of brown carpet here, and that's going to be 15 inches wide by 67.5 inches tall. Okay, so we're going to start off by shooting the screw into the carpet. We're going to leave about a 1-inch overlap, and that's going to wrap all the way around. So we're going to start at the very bottom. Okay, and then we're going to pull that tight, and we're going to put a screw at the very top. We're going to work from the center out either side. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a stretch this around as tight as we can. Now this is in the sun, been in the sun, so this is nice and soft and pliable. We're going to go wrap that around. We're going to put a screw right in the center. So we're just going to work our way down, pulling the carpet tight, and then every foot or so we're going to put a screw. Okay, now we need to work on the top perch, and what we're going to do first is we're going to cut some carpet padding, and so we're going to just trace this out. So we're going to go ahead and cut some of this green carpet out. Okay, so we have our top piece ready to go, and we're going to put the padding side down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use the staple gun to fasten that. Okay, so for the back now we're going to make a notch cut. So we're going to cut straight down from here on this side, and then we're going to leave a little overhang or a little pigtail that cuts over it. So we're just going to notch that out like that. Okay, this gets wrapped around. We're going to give that a staple. And we're going to bring that up. Okay, so now we need to come back and trim this piece that's hanging over, and we're just going to trim that to 1/4 of an inch so the carpet butts up to that real nice. So we're just going to go ahead. Next, you're going to want to clean up the edges as much as you can. Just cut off any of these. All right, next we're going to take our glue gun and squirt some glue down all these pockets down here, and we're going to glue this down real nice and tight. Now that we have our top piece completed, we're going to set that aside. So this part of the project, we're ready to start putting things together. And this is going to be the first place we're going to tack in. The top is still free, the bottom is still free, so we're going to tack in this first and the tube in second. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to make sure the top piece is on square here, that it's nice and even on both sides. I have a little bit hanging over here on the back, and we're going to use some 3-inch screws to go right through the top here. Next, we're just going to put in some guide screws so we know where to screw in from the other side. We use a lag bolt and some 4- and 3-inch screws, but first we're going to need to drill a pilot hole for the lag bolt. Good and tight. Okay, next we're going to shoot some 3-inch screws around the lag bolt, and we're just going to put those in all different directions and angles. Next, we're going to cut out a piece of plywood that's going to go on the very bottom of the cat tree. We're going to make that 24 inches by 24 inches, and we're going to go ahead and cut that out. So right here on the other side is where the 2x4 post sits. So we're going to go ahead and put a couple screws right in there, and this is really going to stabilize the top of the tree. Okay, next we're going to want to pull the carpet as tight as we can, and I found that if you use a pliers, you can really get it tight. We'll pull that over, and we're going to go ahead and staple this. Very corner inward. So we're going to cut 45 like that. And we're just going to let this flop for the moment. And another 45. Okay, so now we flipped our cat tree over. So what we're going to do, our first cut, is we're going to cut up, straight up from the corner about 1 inch. And then we're going to cut over this way. So we're going to find our corner there. And then we're going to kind of cut straight down. So it kind of makes this piece that we're going to fold over just like that. Okay, so now for the piece that we have left, what we're going to do is we're just going to cut straight up about 1 inch, 1.5 inches over. We're just simply going to fold our carpet right on that same line, right there. Crease it, and then we're going to fold this over to make a nice corner, just like a package. Okay, so we have both sides complete. They're both folded over and ready to be stapled. So now to finish this up, all we're going to do is going to cut along where our other cut is before, and we'll put some staples, and that'll make a really nice seam. Okay, so the same goes for this side. We're just going to follow the angle that we have below. I'm going to cut that corner piece right down. Throw a couple staples in there. Okay, so this is the finished bottom of the cat tree. Now, if you have some extra carpet, you can put some carpet there. We happen to have some gray carpet. Okay, one thing that is a necessity on your cat tree is some wheels. Makes it easy just to move it around the house and change it around. These things are really heavy. So what I'm going to do is just line it up with the pole here. Okay, so now with our wheels, we just tip our cat tree back, and away we go. Okay, so you can arrange these beds any way you would like. I'm going to take the carpet out, and I'm going to put 2 screws in here. So the next bed we're going to make is going to utilize this log. So that's going to go right here in the middle. And the other bed is going to be attached right here, and then rest right on here. So we'll go ahead. So I have 2 screws with washers, and we're just going to put those right here and here. Okay. So next we're going to shoot a screw through the bed and into this log post. Now to hang this bed, we're going to use 4 screws with washers. We're going to also check it for level. Make sure that that is nice and level. There we go. So we're going to put 2 screws here and then 2 screws from the bottom of the tube up into the bed. So again, we're going to use 4 screws with washers. And that is another good stable bed. Okay, so now that we have these 2 attached, we're going to make an L like this and then start wrapping upwards. So we have our rope inside the bag, and we're just going to flip that around, do like a throw sack. And you have to keep tension on this side of the rope at all times. Okay, so we are to the end of where we want to end our rope. I'm just going to tuck it in here, and then we're going to put a screw back here in the back. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to give our cat tree a haircut. So we're going to go around and look for all the little things that are sticking out, the little carpet pieces. And we're just going to go ahead and trim those up. So these are the finished cat trees. Stay tuned to more cat videos from CatsOnGlue.com.